Anthony and Dawn Randolph. We've been married for 18 years, going on 19 this year. We've been together for 25 years. We now reside in Roseville, California. Met in San Jose Bay Area because we're Bay kids. Yes, yes. Was raised along the peninsula in the Bay Area. Good little nuggets about us. We got 4 kids. 4 kids. And a fur baby. And a fur. Yeah. That's our fifth favorite kid. And we own a business. We've had a business since 2008. Yeah. Like crazy. We own and operate a catering company. I always say a dessert catering company, but it's a little bit more than that. Yeah. Desserts are our specialty, right? But if you know us, then you can kind of get in on what we do on the side, which is a little bit of, Southern American food. Yeah. We like to say food that's good for your soul. I was having lunch with a good friend that I worked with. After lunch, she said, let's stop at the frat house so I can use the bathroom. I said, no, let's go to your house so you can use the bathroom. I did not have the traditional college experience. I didn't have the warm and fuzzies that she may have had of, stopping at the frat house and, saying hi. I had the opposite. I was like, I don't do fraternity guys. She convinced me to pull over. She walked in and she said, come on. I was like, I'm good. She was like, just come stand in the doorway while I go use the bathroom. Little did I know there was a brother there that she was interested in, and she quickly ran into the house and disappeared to see him. Meanwhile, I'm standing in the foyer of this house. I don't know who they are. I don't know any fraternity. I don't know them at all. I'm standing in the front and this guy walks over with a do-rag on. He's like, hey. And I'm like, hey. And I turn the other way. But he doesn't care. He keeps talking to me. He invites me to a party, gives me a flyer. He writes his number down on it. I'm polite. I give him back my pager number because that was pagers at the time. Give him back the information. And I think I'll never see this guy again. He'll page me, but I won't call back. Finally, she comes from behind somewhere in the back of the house and we leave. Well, a couple days later, he called me and I called him back because I thought it was somebody else. We got on the phone and he made me laugh so hard. He was just so funny that I was like, okay, this dude might really be a great friend, right? Like, he wasn't really my type, was what I thought, but I was like, he would be a really good friend to have. He's super cool. We kind of did a casual thing where I said, hey, you want to go grocery shopping with me and my daughter? We got to run some errands. He's like, yeah, I bet. I was like, yo, we'll come pick you up. We had a whole day. Again, he was all fun, all laughs. I'm just chilling because he's like in his last year of school. So he's just on chill mode, right? We kind of kept talking and really just got to know each other a little bit more. And we're like meeting up at some similar places. We had mutual friends. We're like, oh, this is cool. So time rolls around. He's actually tried to kiss me a couple of times, but I've let him know, like, he says, hey, can I come to your birthday dinner? I said, sure, come on down. It's more than merry. It's a bunch of us getting together at a restaurant. We're going to have a good time. My girlfriend's like, oh, is your homeboy coming? I'm like, yeah, he's coming. He should be here in a minute. He walked in the door. This lounge time was over, okay? The senior student that I saw all the time, I don't know where he was. This guy comes in the door. I'll never forget the outfit. He had a black corduroy hat and he had it tilted to the side. He had on a white t-shirt with a black vest. So it was a crispy white t-shirt. He had a nice pair of pressed up khakis on. I looked, I said, dang. My girl was like, dang, you cleaned up good. I said, dang. I was telling my girl, I said, guess what? She said, what? I said, this might be the dude. She said, how you know? I was like, I don't know. So he comes to the table, he woos us. Now I'm really concerned because I'm like, dang, I like this guy. I really don't like him. He's like my friend. Like, I'm feeling him now. But he didn't try to kiss me twice. And I told him, So he's not feeling me. We go to the car. He pays for my dinner and my daughter's dinner. He's such a gentleman. I knew that was a stretch because he was still in school. So I'm like, okay. We walk into the car. My girlfriend puts the baby, my daughter in the car, and we talking. This is what I hear him say the whole time. I don't know what he was saying to me. Because in my mind, what I was thinking is, listen, Lord, if this is the guy that you want me to be with, let him kiss amazing. Let him kiss great. While I'm talking this close to me, while I don't know what he's saying. So then I'm like, dang, he's not going to even kiss me because he's already tried to kiss me twice. Okay, God, I don't even know what I'm going to do right now. Then I feel like he's about to lean in and I'm like, all right, here we go. He leans in to kiss me, comes back, and I'm sitting there. And he's like, so what are you going to do for the rest of the night? And I was like, whatever you're doing. And ever since then,
We've been
we've been inseparable.
Yep.
Inseparable.
Good story. It's funny when I met her, she was gorgeous as always. When I got to know her and her being a single mom and being a strong single mom, she reminded me a lot of my mother growing up as a single mom. A lot of characteristics. She was out there. She had a job. She was just doing her, taking care of her business. As a struggling college student, I respected that a lot. As we've grown and gotten to know each other, I know that we talk about helpmates, and I know our personalities and how we are so opposite in a lot of ways. How God put that together. There was no one else could have did that but God. For my persistence, um, through Don's ability to create and build relationships and friends, like that to me that's like God put that together for sure.
I think definitely a Bible. You have your own Bible, but that should just be a reminder of, how this works. It doesn't work without that.
One piece of advice that always has stuck with us when we did marriage counseling was treat the other person like a Siamese twin. You never want to do something to the point to where you're hurting them because you're basically hurting yourself
Yeah.
at the same time. That advice to treat my spouse as a Siamese twin has always given me the visual of not going too far in a conversation or too far in an argument because you're basically detrimenting yourself by doing that. We've always been able to come back to that advice and be like, okay, we need to break. Okay, we're going to break and we'll come back to this, but I'm not going to get to the point to where I escalated so far that I'm basically hurting myself at that point.
Honestly, I think it would probably be like if there was a symbolization for community because you can't do it without God.
Yes.
Remembering that you're on the same team, that Siamese twin thing, and then you need community. As much as we feel like we can do it alone, go leave and cleave, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be in community with one another.
Yeah. If I could add like a three prime, we have this concept of a parking lot, which allows us to put certain disagreements or certain things there and revisit them later, but not let it affect who we are as a couple. Being able to still love on each other and still be there. It's hard sometimes, but it allows you to just that concept of saying, we're not gonna get over this right now, but let's park that for now.
Right.
We'll
And revisit it later.
later.
Just knowing that your marriage and you two getting along is bigger than you two getting along. This thing is bigger than us. This thing is not just about us getting to spend all the time together and all the stuff. We are a representation, right? So if we know that we're a representation of something bigger, then that argument that we feel like I gotta win or you gotta hear my point, it's not even that important. Park it and pray about it. And let's say revisit it later because now how are you representing? When you holding on to stuff and you walking around and you can't even represent well.
And this has been a growth thing.
Oh, right? Yeah.
This is not something that
Yeah.
we weren't there like,
I
2 3
used to
years
chase
ago.
Anthony around the house and be like, we're gonna deal with this today.
Right. Yeah. So I think but us getting to so first going back to that Siamese twin part of this, knowing that we wouldn't take it that far, now having that grace for each other, building that along the way allows us to now I had some self-discovery moments where I'm like, man, is that really about her or is it about me? And so being able to really address what my issue was versus pointing the finger at her, like, why am I talking like that? What's really going on? Some of that was self-discovery and just learning. I know that, in the conversations, she would want to I'm a processor. I'm a thinker, as we talked about earlier. I like to process things, right? And so I tried to get to a point to where I can give her something in the moment, even though I'm like, I'm still processing this. Like give her that at minimum, right? So she's not just yeah, hanging and using that and to be honest, using that as a punishment sometimes. I'm just gonna let you hang right there. I'm not gonna even address that. Recognizing that in myself and not wanting her to feel that way, that's a growth thing. That took some time to really get to. I would say that the expectation game and putting my expectations without having the communication across to my wife and trying to hold her accountable to my expectations without having the communication. That's been for me one of the biggest learning things that I'm still working through, but we're at a better place now where I can try to communicate what my expectations are. She's a much better communicator than I am. I feel like she does that better. That for me has been my biggest learning thing is to take my expectations down off the mantle and have a conversation about it.
Good. That's a good one, but for me, because I'm coming in hot and heavy all the time, and I know there are women out there, and maybe there are some men who are in marriage and they feel the same way that things need to be resolved right now. We need to talk about it right now. Learning that he's not going anywhere. Sometimes your spouse needs to process whatever it is you're going through. So if you can clearly articulate that I need to process this, then giving him the time and the space to process it, right? And backing away and going into prayer. That was huge for me. That was huge. And realizing that it's we're gonna get back to it and we're gonna solve it. It's not the end of the world. I would look at arguments like we need to solve it right now. It's otherwise everything gonna burn down. That's not that ain't true. That just does not. That's your own emotions. That's something I see it all the time with couples. They say the same thing, and I'm like, just give them some grace. You know, give each other some
Give
grace.
each other some grace.
Yeah.
Yeah.